Okay, I hope you can all hear me well. Let's start going, and then since I'm gonna give some guidelines, those joining will still not miss the most important content. Welcome everyone. My name is Ana Martinez. I work at Sustainable Innovations, and we are the company in charge of the communication and dissemination of ICT-BIOCHAIN. ICT-BIOCHAIN is a project that I hope most of you already know, but if not, we are gonna make a brief introduction about it as well. And so first of all, this is the agenda that we will be using today. We will first get an overview of the project, and we are gonna go through the work achieved. The project has been mainly working on two parallel realms. On the one hand, the digital innovation hubs, and on the other hand, the ICT tools to improve the efficiency of the biomass value chains. So we will be reviewing everything that has been done. And we also want to hear your feedback. So we have prepared a couple of interactive questions for you to participate as well. And then we will finalize the session with the conclusions and a brief mention to the work ahead. So some brief instructions to make the most out of our session. First of all, I would like to let you know that the session is being recorded. We will be sharing the video afterwards with all of you. Please make sure that your microphone is muted unless you have to speak. I would like to remind all the partners presenting to please activate it when they and turn it on when you are going to present. Then regarding questions and comments, please use the chat window and send all the comments to everyone so that we can all see them. Don't send them only to the administrator and the presenter. I would also like to take this opportunity to let you know that you can detach the chat window, and you can see it bigger and play around with it to place it wherever you prefer. And last, remind you again that this is an interactive session, and we would encourage you to participate on Mentimeter. Just a quick reminder, because I can hear someone's microphone on, please mute your microphones, all of you. Thank you very much. And then let's go for the ice breaking, and then we can do this test with menti.com for the first interactive session of today. Please go to menti.com and then introduce the code 659700. And please, if you can write where are you from or where are you connecting from, it would be great. So we have people from Spain, Ireland, Greece, Slovakia, Italy, France, Portugal. Wow. Many countries. That's really great. Very good. Netherlands, UK, Finland, India, Bosnia. That's really good. We have now 57 attendees and growing from all over Europe and even beyond, as we can see with the case of India. I didn't say anything, by the way, but I'm hoping that all of you and your beloved ones are fine regarding this coronavirus situation. We were supposed to be hosting this session physically, but due to the restrictions, we are holding it online, which on the other hand is a good opportunity for many people to join online. So it has also a positive side in that sense. Okay, great. Let's go now then to the second question, which is which of these options would describe you best? Are you an ICT or an Internet of Things expert? Are you an expert of the bio-based industry? Or are you just not related at all to these two industries or fields. Okay, we have quite a few experts from the bio-based industry, which is great. I mean, qualified audience in this case. Good, especially to get inputs from you. I'm sure it's going to be an interesting session. Okay, a couple more minutes. We also have quite a few people who are not related to any of these fields. So we hope for those that you can get a glimpse and learn a bit more about these two interesting fields. Okay, good. Let's move on then. We will be also sharing the results of this session. So if anyone hasn't participated yet, you can still do that. Let's move on with the presentation then. So I'm going to hand over now to Judith Anda, which is our project coordinator, and she is from the Andalusian Regional Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Sustainable Development. Please, Judith, the floor is yours.
Yes, good morning, all of you. Thank you to attend this event. And okay, Anna has just introduced me, so I begin with the presentation. The ICT-BIOCHAIN project is, as you may know already, is coordinated by Andalusia Regional Ministry of Agriculture, and it started in June of 2018, and it is just finalizing this week. The project is funded by Bio-based Industry Joint Undertaking, and it is composed by 8 partners from 5 countries. Next. The project consortium is formed by 3 competence centers: VTT from Finland, AML from Germany, and IBIOC from Scotland. The regional facilitators of this project are CTA from Andalusia and ATT for Ireland. And the communication team is CIE, and we have 2 demonstrator regions. One is South East Ireland, represented by ABF, and Andalusia, represented by the Regional Ministry of Agriculture. Next. The core of these projects are the 2 regions. It is not a coincidence that Southeast Ireland and Andalusia are part of this project. As before, this project in 2016, both regions were chosen as model demonstrator regions for sustainable chemicals production by the European Commission, gaining experience to be applied in the project. So both regions had a previous work in biomass and in bioeconomy. Next. As you probably know from other events we had in the last month, the objectives of the ICT-BIOCHAIN project is to identify the opportunities of ICT to increase the efficiency of biomass supply chains for the bio-based industry. It can also play a key role in making Europe's bio-based supply chains more efficient and contributes to several key big CIRA strategic objectives. Next. Our goals has been to establish digital innovation hubs in the 2 model regions, South-East Ireland and Andalusia, develop bioresources models and ICT databases, support the growth of the bioeconomy by means of a greater availability of competitive price biomass, develop value chain coalitions of multi-actors through the knowledge transfer activities, and finally, provide a roadmap towards replication of digital innovation hub for the bio-based sector in Europe, while also building networks with other bioeconomies regions. Next. And finally, this is the structure of the project. The project has had 7 work packages, as seen in this slide, and the main results or achievements will be presented today. Only this work package 1, is about the opportunities of technologies in these biomass supply chains. Work package 2 is about the establishment of the digital innovation hubs in both regions. Work package 3 is about development of ICT-BIOCHAIN platform. Work package 4 is about to identify good practice in the both regions, and work package 5 is about to develop a roadmap for other regions to the implementation of this digital innovation hub in other regions. And we had in the project also the tasks of dissemination and communication, and the management and coordination. So this is all on my hand, and nothing more in this moment. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Judith. Okay, so now we are gonna pass on looking into the work that has been done regarding the digital innovation hubs. As Judith also already mentioned, the establishment of 2 pilot digital innovation hubs were key. It was the core concept of the project, and they were expected to contribute to regional development, to upgrade and support innovation, and to link actors and boost commercial opportunities. And I'm gonna hand over now to our colleague Filippo Giancarlo Martinelli from the IRIS Bioeconomy Foundation, who will be talking about the work done in the IRIS Digital Innovation Hub. So please, Filippo, whenever you want.
Thank you very much. Yes. So it's for simplicity, Philip, representing Ireland and the Irish Bioeconomy Foundation, together with the IT Tralee Institute, we have helped setting up the Digital Innovation Hub of Ireland. I will give my brief presentation looking at how is this useful and how can this be replicated by other locations. The Digital Innovation Hub, it's a top-down concept which also integrates bottom-up initiatives. The first thing that we came to conclude is that we have to explain it to the audience, to the stakeholders, in a way that it speaks to what's in it for them. So what essentially we've been active into doing is to support the ecosystem development by doing what? Facilitating mapping and access to IT technologies, facilitating mapping and access to bioresources. And how do you bridge the gap between IT technologies and bioresources toward more efficient value chain? Next, please. So once you simplify the message of what is it that you want to do, you have then to match the same with the local ecosystem. In the case of Ireland, there is a predominance of agro-food, agri-industry, and thus the residues are mostly in the agro-cropping and animal side. Yet there is also significant horticulture and forestry and marine, but the core was agro-food. So that's the starting mapping for the stakeholders. Next, please. Then how do you deploy this in a way that is useful? Well, as said, Ireland and Andalusia were nominated by the European Commission as model demonstrator regions, so there will be by no mean we should have lost the chance of valorizing the same. The spotlights were on the Southeast Ireland Tipperary County Council, formerly Sheen site. So the starting of the spotlight was from that site, but then using the same to bring the attention and the visibility and the service through all the island of Ireland as much as possible. And as you can see on the right, in fact, the island is quite active in the bioeconomy, both in the form of Irish Bioeconomy Foundation members and other stakeholders. So that's a bit the logic which we wanted to deploy this. Next, please. So in practice, the conceptual support services were done mostly by emailing and phone calls and meeting up with people, but yet there's also a need to formalize the start. So as said, coherently with leveraging the model demonstrator and the Lichin location, we had our kickoff and knowledge transfer event, where you can see in the pictures held in the national site of Lichin, you will see the attendees who convened together, and we had the chance to present to them part of the deliverables that were already done on the mapping of the IT technologies available, and then to gather their needs on how IT solutions could help them concretely with their businesses and their activities and their value chains. And you can see in the picture several people, including representative of IT, Trali, our partners. Next, please. Then once you have done your mapping of the needs, especially in the case of ICT-BIOCHAIN, that is IT solutions for bioeconomy, these are two different sectors that don't talk too much to each other, you would say. So, and why would they, you would say? But then let's break the ice with very concrete site visits to people who have done it. And they may have done it even without knowing it, but they have in fact done it. And so we had a set of demonstration data, set of visits to very concrete and specific sites. We had the BHSL. BHSL has a very exciting technology for waste to energy, which has remote control options. And this, they really have their plans and their operations in Ireland, yet from there they can control all over the world their machines. So that was a very concrete example for one of IBF member, BHSL Hydro. Further, there was also the Selignis. Selignis has a very exciting solution to match high throughput analysis with remote interpretation of the same, and we had the pleasure to be hosted there and bring people to visit their premises. And finally, the Quilter Connected Forest, which was a good example. You may see here we have waste to energy starting from animal feedstock, we have lignocellulosic analyticals, and we have forestry. So somehow trying to mirror as much as possible the portfolios of feedstock in Ireland. Next, please. Now, having mapped the needs, having reached out to specific concrete sites, our work in parallel to support people were enhanced. We then decide to reconvene and do our finance day for the ICT-BIOCHAIN project, where specific projects idea were then support for coaching and training toward financial and funding opportunities. We decide to do so by leveraging an existing event, that's the annual forum of the Irish Bioeconomy Foundation member, and then in the open section of thereof, we had the ICT BioChain Finance Day, open to anybody, and then thus we could bring more people together at an event, leveraging an existing event, and provide some support to the so-called value chain coalitions, which are attempt to match IT solutions with specific bioeconomy options. I will actually already get ready to conclude in the next slide with a quick, oh, I don't have my next slide, so yeah, I can conclude.
Yeah, that's, sorry, Philip,
No
I don't
problem.
know what happened.
I can conclude with this, just
Okay.
to wrap up what has been said. So for, in our opinion, for achieving impact for the deployment of our Irish hub, we have followed a number of steps, which are again the simplifications of the message. The methodology has to be applied, but the message has to be brought forward in a format that is what's in it for you. Because of any service that is free at the point of use, it's very important to do so, because people will get the service for free, but their time is not free. So they really have to understand what's in it for them. Then match the same with the specific feedstock portfolio of the region, predominantly agri-food, but also forestry and marine. Then do your formal kickoff, which we have done, leveraging a spotlight location, which is a tool to leverage the visibility of the same to extend the action to other locations and stakeholders. At last, very concrete examples of success cases and people doing the thing already, and being them directly associated with us in this case or not. So both, it's important to be multi-partisan in that extent. At last, leveraging an existing event to give more visibility to the whole, and then a lot of work in the background, calling and phone calling and meeting up with the innovation projects, and so the value chain coalitions, finally connecting the same to other projects which we have running and starting very soon, such as the Intertrade, Biomap, and the Empower CSA. So that's a bit summary of our activities. I hope it were properly transmitted and heard.
Thank you very much, Filippo. We will make sure to add that missing slide to the presentation when we share it afterwards, after the session. So thank you very much for explaining us the work on the IRIS Digital Innovation Hub. Now we are gonna hear again from Judith from the ministry, the Regional Ministry of Andalusia, about the Andalusian Digital Innovation Hub. So please, Judith, whenever you are ready.
Yes. Thank you, Anna. Judith again speaking. And now I'm going to explain the Digital Innovation Hub formed in Andalusia. This Digital Innovation Hub has taken account all the previous experience and has been integrated in other regional initiatives in relation with the bioeconomy and the technologies. First of all, for us it's very important that we took the background from being a region demonstrator, as I said before. And secondly, the tools of these projects will be integrated in the regional bioeconomy strategy. And also we consider the bioeconomy cluster in the region and a big project about the Digital Innovation Hub Andalusia Agrotest is a project created to foster the digitization in agri-food sector. So this initiative, the ICT-BIOCHAIN Digital Innovation Hub, is connected and integrated in these structures. Next. You can see this in this slide. The Digital Innovation Hub of ICT-BIOCHAIN is under the umbrella of the Andalusia Agrotech Hub as a thematic deep for several value chains of the bioeconomy and in direct contact with the Andalusian cluster and circular bioeconomy. The whole ICT-BIOCHAIN structure is presented here in details. It has a business advisor, an ICT advisor, and 3 value chains advisors corresponding to the value chains under the study with the project. These value chains are olive, horticulture, and algae. Next. In this slide, you can see a photo of the people representing the ICT-BIOCHAIN DIP. From the left, the ICT advisor represented by the company EC2C, then the algae advisor from BioHorizon, and the horticultural advisor from Grupo La Caña, the olive advisor from Oleícola El Tejar, then the business advisor from CTA, and finally the hub manager, in fact myself for now, from the Regional Ministry of Agriculture. Next. The value chain chosen in these projects to be the object of the study of the model and that you can find in the platform of the website are olive and horticulture, because of their importance to the regions, and algae for the potential that they represent now in the future. Next. Here you can see photographs taken during the launching and knowledge transfer events of Andalusia Digital Innovation Hubs last July, where more than 60 participants attend this event. Next, please. Then, in November 2019, we organized a demonstration day where we visit several sites from Andalusia contributing to the circular bioeconomy. This is the case of the water treatment plant of El Copero near Seville, where they use the wastewater to produce biogas, and they use also agriculture waste. And also we visit the biomass valorization from olive oil from El Tejar, and also we visit the pilot plant of Instituto de la Grasa of olive oil, where extracts and additives from olive were produced. Next. Also, during this May, we also organize 3 dissemination virtual events in Spanish language in order to inform all stakeholders from the region of the model, platform, and digital innovation hub form. These events were carried out in collaboration with the Digital Innovation Hub advisors for the 3 for ICT, algae, and horticulture, with an average of 60 local participants for each webinar. And finally, next, about the future. For us, it is very important to continue working in the tools created in this project. I refer to this Digital Innovation Hub, and because of this reason, we have integrated it in connection with other public policies in the region. And also, I refer to the platform and that data model that is a satisfactory prototype to progress and to include as a service in this digital innovation hubs. Thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you, Judith. Now we are I'm going to hand over to Gloria de la Viña from Corporación Tecnológica de Andalucía, CTA, who is going to explain us which are the key steps to establishing a digital innovation hub. So please, Gloria, whenever you want.
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending this webinar. I'm going to talk basically about the roadmap to implement this type of digital innovation hub in your region. So first of all, here you go, kind of 6 steps to do it. But I must say that these 6 steps are not necessarily consecutive. They can be working in parallel. For example, you can start working in structuring the digital innovation hub. I mean, the definition of how it's going to be structured at the same time that you are planning the stakeholders engagement. And after that, actually with the feedback of these 2 previous steps, you can establish the methodology or the procedure about how you're going to establish the digital innovation hub. And then gets into the 4th step, that is where you have to demonstrate that the digital innovation hub has the capacity to work as a one-stop shop for all the stakeholders in order to improve the regional innovation ecosystem. And also, if they are well designed, I must say that the digital innovation hubs can have an enormous impact on the technology transfers, business development, and regional socioeconomic growth. So after that, next please. Here you go, the steps to establish the digital innovation hub. One of the areas to take into consideration, very important to to come with the experience in the region, that existing experience in building digital innovation hubs that having already performed and are running. So use all that experience to actually prevent risk identification when you are actually structuring your digital innovation hub related with biomass value chain. Particularly, it's important to record all these risks that you identified, to write up how you're going to mitigate these risks, and 3 areas that are really sensitive to this are the availability of information in your region, the plan to engage effectively the stakeholders that you want to have in your digital innovation hub, and also the framework where you are defining the digital innovation hub in your region. Then gets into actually shaping this digital innovation hub that you have to take into consideration to have in the major agents, major stakeholders, companies, or research groups, or experts in your digital innovation hub in order to ensure that your stakeholder engagement is going to work. And then finally, again, as I mentioned, let's go to demonstrate that you can really operate in a way to be interesting and be able to add value to all your stakeholders, for example, offering relevant information about supporting resources. Next, please. So here you have a general way to structure your digital innovation hub. It's general, you can adapt it to your particular case, but as already Judith mentioned, in the case of ICT-BIOCHAIN digital innovation hub, is quite simple. There is a digital innovation manager, steering committee, biosources advisors, and ICT advisors. Also very important, there is a knowledge provider involved in the digital innovation hub that can be a competence center or a combination of institutes and research groups from the university, depending on the case. Very important as well to connect with the umbrella of the your regional digital umbrella that is can be the entity that gathers all the digital innovation hubs that are established in the region, and that articulate the relationship between all of them, and also relate with all the different digital innovation hubs in your region and outside your region. Also, for example, in the case of the project, we are very close, and we will keep in touch with the Southeast Ireland Irish Digital Innovation Hub. Okay, next, please. About the stakeholders engagement plan, very important to define the profiles, the stakeholders profiles that you are going to work with. Very simply, biomass-related companies, ICT solutions providers, and then other type of stakeholders that could be universities, the public administrations, institutes, etc. Then very important as well to tailor-make the benefits to join the digital innovation hub for each of the different profiles, and tailor-made as well the communication materials you use for that to really engage them. Use key messages that are like, for example, the digital innovation hubs act as a one-stop shop offering access to competences, infrastructure, training, networking, etc. And as Philip already mentioned, it's very important to choose the right communication channel, take care about the timing the different stakeholders are used to, and from the digital innovation hub, I mean, the contact person should be very, very well chosen and be approached in a proper way to be really effective. Next, please. And then we go to the real thing that is show that we really can operate in a way that is useful and add value to all our stakeholders. First of all, we have to launch the hub, of course. Very, very recommended to use the same event for launching the hub, and also to perform a knowledge transfer again, where the different the ICT solutions can show what they got in order to cover the needs of the biomass companies related. I mean, the biomass-related companies. And then, for example, the demo day is also very, very interesting, has been very successful in both regions. because it consists on show how really on site the application of the ICT to the biomass value chain can really make a difference in industries and competitiveness, etc. And then the investment day, which is a very, very important day as event as well, because shows is devoted to show the different financial supports that are available in the region, give a space for networking, but also to show to investors different capacities that are in the region. And then it's time también to continue the value chain building. Next, yeah. And this is very important because during the events there should be always a lot of spaces for networking, for B2B meetings, etc. But all that work that has been happening during those events has to be recorded. Okay, it's very important to record using different questionnaires all the contacts that the different stakeholders have been doing at the end of each event. Because then afterwards there is another job to be done by the ICT-BIOCHAIN digital innovation hubs, which is to support and to promote those first contacts to be converted into value chain coalitions, okay, where the different ICT solutions could be applied all along the bioeconomy value chain. Next. And yeah, just to end, highlight that customized stakeholders messages is really important. That is also very important to involve stakeholders as part of the steering committee, because that is perceived by the rest of the stakeholders as an evidence that the Digital Innovation Hub could effectively contribute to improve their competitiveness. Of course, target the needs of the biomass-related companies, and in the lunch event and even in other types of events as well, very important to organize workshop sessions where biomass companies can express their needs, while the ICT providers can show viable solutions and opportunities. Finally, also, the events should be designed, as also Philippe is mentioned, using a flexible approach. Okay, it has to be really adapted to your reality, to the stakeholders you've got and the opportunities you have in your region, to really show very important success cases, and also to spot needs that are still not covered and could be covered by the ICT providers attending the meeting. And also really the agendas has to be really taking into account the specific needs and availability of time, etc., that the attendees are going to have. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you very much. So we have compiled all these lessons learned, the roadmap, and most of the knowledge generated during the project in a set of e-learning materials to allow for the replication of the digital innovation hubs in other regions. We have in total 9 modules in English language, which are composed by 5 story maps, 2 videos with tips from each digital innovation hub, and 2 webinars. And then we also have 4 webinars in Spanish language. So for the Spanish language ones, there are 3 of them on the website, and we will be uploading the 4th one very soon. So these are the e-learning materials in English, the 4 modules. They are focusing on opportunities for ICT in the biomass sector, in the digital innovation hub structure that Gloria showed us, and the stakeholders to be involved, and the key steps to establishing a digital innovation hub as well. Then we also have a module about funding and financing opportunities, another one about recommendations for the mobilization, and another one for the demo days, because throughout the implementation of these events, we learn a lot, and we can extract some best practices and lessons learned. We also have a video with tips from the Andalusian Digital Innovation Hub, another one with tips from the Iris Digital Innovation Hub, And last but not least, the webinar with the Train the Trainer and the launch of the ICT platform, where you can also see how to use it. In Spanish language, they focus on 3 value chains: biomass, algae, and agri-food. And we also have one webinar about financing and investment opportunities. So we've talked a lot. So now we would like to hear from you, once again through Mentimeter. And before we start the second part of the session, so please, if you can go back to menti.com, introduce the code, and let us know if you think that having a digital innovation hub in your region would be useful. Okay, so it seems everyone considers it useful. Someone is saying that please, to those who are not speaking, please mute your microphones to avoid sound problems. Okay, so one person is saying it's not useful to have a digital innovation hub. If you want to expand more about that on the chat, it would be nice. Otherwise, well, I mean, it's plurality of opinions. 2 people are not sure. Great. So let's move to the next question then. And it's about whether you could provide with any other tip to establishing a digital innovation hub. Is there anything you think we should consider or that you would like to see in a digital innovation hub in your region? No one is commenting. Well, if you don't have any further tip, maybe you have something that you would like to highlight about digital innovation hubs. Okay, no. To determine local expertise, yes, what we've learned also in ICT-BIOCHAIN is that the local is at least as important as the global. It is important to pay attention to the regions and the different needs, because you have from different value chain to different needs. Transparency to carry out market studies, local organization, again, more emphasis on ICT, international connections. It is, I think it's key in these projects to have in mind both realms, the local and regional and the international and global. Also, because there are many different projects and it's important to not duplicate efforts. Brilliant. So, okay, I'm gonna give a couple of minutes more to those of you who haven't participated yet, in case you can do that. And then we will start with the second part of the session, which is focusing on the ICT tools. Okay, so let's continue then. Oh, sorry, here. Let's continue then with the work achieved regarding ICT tools. And I'm gonna hand over to Johan Belfreit from the Industrial Biotechnology Innovation Center. So whenever you are ready, Johan.
Good morning, everyone. So I will talk a little bit about the importance of bioresource modeling. And so when building and establishing new bio-based concepts, feedstock availability or raw material availability and knowledge about how much is available, how much does it cost, is absolutely critical to kind of building a solid business case. And what the bioresource modeling can provide is that you will find out exactly how much raw material is available in a particular region, where it is. So what is the cost of moving that material from one point to another? And is it used for something else? We can get knowledge about how much is generated, but if it's used for something else, there is competing activities that needs to be considered as well. So all of that provides a first snapshot to generating kind of the first iterations of that business case. And once you kind of gone further down the route of building up your bio-based concept, you can add more knowledge and do more detailed analysis. But this is a first really important step in providing that knowledge. You can go to the next slide. So another few kind of positive things to consider when we talk about bioresource modeling is how it impacts regional development of a sustainable bioeconomy. And one thing that we have found in doing this is that it is a really good driver for industry engagement. First of all, you can reach out to stakeholders in specific sectors to understand what kind of data is there that can be used in the modeling for specific materials and resources. And once you have that data, those can come back to you and request, data and to use in their development of new concepts. Another thing is that it is a really useful tool to support inwards investments. Consider the concept of companies looking to build a new plant in your region, and you're able to provide that information about how much raw material is available for that particular concept. And so that will be a very useful driver for that inwards investment. Another point is highlighting and mapping the need for data. So when you go about capturing the data, you'll soon find out, are we measuring the right things? Is the data that we have relevant, or is it of the right quality? So this will be kind of a first round of really understanding, are we doing the right things? And then kind of adjusting how we go about collecting the data in order to have a much more informed picture of bioresources in a particular region. The next point is about regional awareness. So once you have the data, you have modeled it, and you're able to communicate those opportunities widely in the region. Companies, universities, and municipalities are able to start to collaborate. They're able to progress and drive the development of technologies that are needed around specific feedstocks that are relevant in your particular region. So it's really important to create that awareness. Otherwise, no one really knows where to focus, or they might be focusing on the wrong things. The final point is about development of regional bioeconomy strategies and visions. And again, this comes to, once you have the data and you really useful to communicate what the opportunities are in developing kind of regional roadmaps and strategy documents that can show the vision for a particular region on, what feedstocks do we have in our region that are really, useful and important. What technologies do we need to really convert those feedstocks into products, and what markets will open up from those feedstocks that we have identified in that particular region. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Johan. I'm going to hand over now to Jacek Flak from VTT, who is going to talk about the identified technologies. So whenever you are ready, Jacek.
Hello, everybody. So as you already seen, ICT-BIOCHAIN project targets at bringing together two completely distinct sectors and doing it for a mutual benefits. So to bridge bioeconomy stakeholders and technology providers, we need to scope the needs and the available solutions, collect them in the uniform database, and share the knowledge, so that in this way we can create opportunities for cooperation, leading to increased efficiency and thus the profitability and sustainability. So let's have a look quickly at what we have found out during this process. Next slide, please. So we have identified over 100 of various types of technologies, And this can be include the basic technologies, which are like individual building blocks providing a single functionality. Then we have also a complex solution that involve multiple basic technologies, and these are typical for the commercial offerings. And then we have online platforms that include the services and databases providing information, contact to the business partners, marketplaces, or basically any combination of these. Next slide, please. We also have found out technologies with different readiness level. Quickly within the scoping, we started focusing on mature and commercially available technologies to achieve maximal and immediate practical impact. Therefore, TRL 9, which is the highest, the more mature technology, is dominating these statistics. Next slide, please. We also have different sectors represented. So the topic of the work package was ICT, IoT, and Industry 4.0. So it's worth looking at how these technologies proportionate to each other. So in ICT, when we have the software and data transmission links, communication technologies, online platforms, then we have Internet of Things, where we have the sensors and connected to the internet and collecting the data for databases and to be later on used in analysis. And then we have Industry 4.0 solutions, which are the most complete and advanced, and they usually include some intelligent feedback and automation process of the business. Next slide, please. We also looked at the area of applications among the technologies, and the forestry, as historically the largest source of biomass, is still dominating, but the agri-food sector is rapidly growing now, and it's quickly catching up. Next slide, please. And finally, we have found solutions from all over the Europe. You might see that project partners countries are maybe slightly overestimated here, but it's just due to the methods when we used also the direct contacts to the stakeholders, to local technology providers, to have the inputs for the database. Nevertheless, we found solutions from virtually every country of Europe, and some of them, mainly the basic technologies, are available worldwide through multiple providers. This means, for example, the cellular communications and so on. So still, I would like to emphasize that all these technologies, over 100 of them, are already identified, and it's still just a snapshot in time from what is available on the market. Of course, the project has limited time and resources, human resources to do that, to scope that completely. But this database is evolving, and it will be growing, and I hope we will be catching up and increasingly accurately covering the available tools in Europe. So I would encourage you to check out the project website, where we have the platform that will be soon introduced by Timo, and which includes the ICT solution database. Currently, there is 84 solutions there, but it will be soon updated to include all over 100 solutions that we have scoped by now. And as I said, this will be developing and updating in the future as well. So thank you very much. Back to Anna.
Thank you, Jacek. Thank you. So now, as Jacek already said, we are going to see a bit more about the ICT-BIOCHAIN platform, which our colleague Timo Erler from Fraunhofer will be explaining us. So whenever you are ready, Timo.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. Thanks, Jacek, for your introduction. Right, we have heard a lot of things about ICT-BIOCHAIN, about the data modeling, about ICT solutions, and the platform bring all these things together. So it's based on the results you can see on the left side. It's placed in deliverables, for example, the 108 ICT solutions. We did some metadata work to how to describe these solutions. For example, we need a contact partner or something like that as information. And also, this platform is based and showcasing the two model demonstrator region we heard a lot before, so Southeast Ireland and Andalusia. And the platform prototype I'm introducing is capable of two types of data. So on the one hand, we have an ICT solutions part, and on the other hand, we have the biomass data story. And at the end, this is only showcasing the possibilities of such a platform. We have some further e-learning material Anna mentioned before, and also we've got our two digital innovation hubs, and these hubs can answer specific questions and give you more detailed information about the biomass data that are modeled, and also about concrete ICT solutions or something like that. So on the next slide, I will start with the ICT solutions. So as Jacek told you, we've got different characteristics how we describe the ICT solutions. For example, the technology readiness level. So we take these criteria and made them to filter, so that we can filter by country or by technology readiness level or by subsector. For example, we could filter the 108 results by the country Finland, the subsector forestry, and technology readiness level 9, and we will get maybe I think it was 2 results that we can have a more detailed view on the right side. So where we have some other information like benefits, like costs, and also maybe the most important information is a contact. How can I get in contact with the ICT solution provider? So the next slide will showcases the other part, the biomass data story. So as a result of work package 1 and also work package 2, we've got 2 biomass data models, one for the Andalusian region and one for Southeast Ireland. And we have identified 3 value chains that I mentioned before, for example, olive. And the prototype here shows you the rising in tons for material sorted by the value chain and by regions. So you can click on the left side, for example, deselect Cordoba, and the stacked bar chart will update it and only show the other sub-regions of Andalusia. You can switch between the value chains and also between Andalusia and Southeast Ireland. So you can play a little bit around with the data that is gathered, and then you can get in contact with the Digital Innovation Hub to ask more specific questions and how you can get the information you want. So that was a short introduction about the platform. And the main thing is that it's integrated on our website, ICT-BIOCHAIN.eu. And you can go on this website, you can search and filter about ICT solutions, and you can play around with the biomass data to get a first impression about what we've done in the project, and then get in contact with the experts to get all the information you need. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Timo. Okay, so this is the second part. Before we head towards the conclusion of the session and in general of the project, we would like to hear once again your opinion about how important do you think it's the digitization of the bio-based industry? Do you think it's crucial? Do you think it's important? Not very important, maybe not necessary at all? Okay, so, okay. Okay, so everyone thinks it's at least somehow important, and some people think it is crucial. That's great, because this way we see that the work we are doing is perceived as something important by the people, well, by the society overall. And because, as we saw before, not everyone who joined this webinar are specialized in the bio-based industry or in the ICT and IoT industries and fields. Okay, great. And then if you have tried, I'm not sure if you have tried the platform, the ICT-BIOCHAIN platform. If you have, or if you haven't, which option would best describe your experience with it? Have you used it and found it useful, or you haven't used it yet? Okay, it's good to know that a lot of people who didn't use it yet are planning on doing so, and those who used it found it useful. Okay, just for you to know, we have a questionnaire. As soon as you enter the website and the platform part, there is a survey, really short. It would take you only 1 minute. If you could fill it in and let us know your feedback about the platform once you've used it, that would be great. Okay, someone didn't find it useful, fair enough. I mean, if the person who didn't find it useful would like to elaborate more on the chat and let us know feedback, or just go on the website and fill in the survey, that would help us a lot learning how to improve it. Okay, so I'm gonna hand over then again. Thank you very much for your feedback, by the way. And I'm gonna hand over again to Judith, who is going to present the final conclusions and the path ahead. So whenever you are ready, Judith.
Yes, yes. Good morning again. Thank you, Anna. Well, I am going to speak about the conclusions of this event and of this project. Now, to finalize, I want to highlight that all the ICT-BIOCHAIN goals were achieved through the correspondent work package with the project. And now following slides will present the main 6 main conclusions and ideas to take home. I want, next, please. I want to mention, first of all, how the importance of the right consortium is when choosing a project. In this case, I can say the previous work of both regions was very important to determine the future work. The project work was well shared among partners, well defined, and having different types of entities helped to achieve all the goals. Also, it may be as an obvious concept, but the communication among partners was also crucial. For so, I want to thank them all for this participation. And next, please. Next, please. Secondly, from the project results, we can say that the use of ICT is needed to boost the biomass value chains in the bioeconomy sector for biomass supply chains mobilization. In our case, this has always been highlighted not only in the main deliverables for ICT tools, but also in all the results, as ICT can help biomass suppliers to improve the efficiency of their supply chains, facilitating the work and helping to advance in the bioeconomy. Next, please. The third conclusion is the formation of the regional digital innovation hubs, able to be replicated in other bioeconomy regions, is one of the main results we can be very proud of. This can be a sustainable way of fostering the bioeconomy based on the cooperation among the main actors at regional level. Next, please. Fourth, we always carry out our work within the project aligned with the premise coming from Europe. For example, looking at the common agriculture policy, where the mobilization of the primary sector has been highlighted, as well as the bioeconomy. Taking the ideas from the Green Deal and the Climate Pact towards sustainability, or the Digital Europe program, where the digital innovation hubs are seen as a tool to implement in order to secure regional development. Next, please. Fifth, to keep sustainability in long term, we have the prototype platform and the biomass data model developed during the project timeline. In our website, you have more information, and if you want, you can fill in the survey for all interested entities to be able to improve in the future these tools. Here we want to emphasize the importance of this type of pilot experiences to understand the project results through also dissemination events. Next, please. And sixth, the cooperation among the types of stakeholders in the biomass value chain is fundamental for the expansion of the bioeconomy. As it is said, this comes from including entities from the quadruple helix: industry, academy, administration, and civil society. And this is the first the main conclusions. And now in the next slide, we have our work ahead, that we include three main items. These are, first of all, the update and addition of more value chains to the models already developed. This is a new objective that we have. Secondly, for Southeast Ireland and Andalusia region, digital innovation hubs are the tools to keep working in regional bioeconomy development. We continue working in these tools. And for the website and platform to be kept for 2 more years, where ICT solutions, biomass data, contact, and e-learning materials are accessible. And about the impact of the project, finally, we believe the project has had an impact through the dissemination events and materials, the participation in other events, and please look at our website and platform and contact us if you require further information. And no more on my hand. Thank you for listening today. Have a good day. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you very much, Judith. So before you all go, and before we open for any questions that you may have for discussion, I would really appreciate if we can go back for the last time today to menti.com, because it's really important to have your feedback. And then once we hear from you about how did you find about this webinar, and there will be 2 more really short questions, then we can open for questions or discussion. So we really hope you enjoyed. And okay, is it working for you on menti.com? I don't know if Are you having any trouble, or it may be just
Here,
taking
Anna,
a little bit? Yes.
it's working for me at least, but it seems that it's not updating.
Okay.
Okay, now you could see it.
Okay, it just updated. It just updated suddenly. Look at it. Now it's working. It seems it just took a little bit to load the answers. Okay, thank you. So about how would you rate this webinar would be the next one. Thank you very much. Okay, and you can keep on replying to this one if you're already logged in. But just for you to know, this could be the last question, and then we can move. If there is any questions or comments, we would be happy to listen to them and to reply to any question you may have. Okay, good. It's great to see that most of you would recommend the webinar. We will be sharing it, so you can actually really share it with colleagues and friends if you think they will be interested. Okay, so let's open. Here you have the two main email addresses of the project. If you have any specific question, we can refer them to the partner who was in charge of that section. And if you are interested in getting the contact of any of the partners involved, just let us know. We will be sending in the coming days an email with the presentation, with the video, and please don't hesitate to reply to the email. Send us any questions, any doubts, any comments that you may have. And yeah, if anyone has questions or comments, it would be great to hear from you all. You can send them on the chat, or you can even open your microphones now if you want, if you prefer to say something out loud.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, if nobody has questions or comments, we could start closing the session. Again, you can contact us anytime. We will be really happy to hear from you, and we will be sharing all the materials. Thanks very much for your support and for joining the session today. And thank you especially to all our partners for their great collaboration and work during this 2 years project. I hope you all have a nice day. And again, thank you very much. Bye-bye.